Hello there, and welcome to the Kirk Minahan wrap-up show. Today is February 12th, 2021. Today's show is airing grievances because Kirk was not... He was in a mood today, as Kirk likes to say. He was in a mood. Some fans, they've been talking a lot of shit, complaining about the show, and he was just kind of fed up with it. So he aired some grievances today. He doesn't like how some people are aligning themselves with certain people in certain groups. So that's where the show title came from. I am joined today by my normal Friday guest, Blind Owl, and I am also joined by one Tim Ridgels of the All in the Minna family. How are you boys doing today?
Thank you, Justin. Thanks.
Yeah. Glad to have another guest on with us on Friday.
Yes, very, very exciting. I like today's show. Today's show was long. There was so many topics to cover. So let's just start off with the first one of the start of the show. So Kirk, obviously, he was doing his thing where he's telling people to unsubscribe. He's upset. He's angry at Dale Williams for, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but apparently
I know exactly what happened.
Okay, could you explain it to me?
So he was in a Twitter conversation with John from Scranton, and then it turned into this whole I still really don't know what this GVE nonsense is. I disagree with it, but Dale was welcomed as part of GVE, and then Kirk retweeted that tweet, and it was just... And poor Dale, he got into something I don't think he knew what he was getting into, but I'll give him credit. He kind of stuck with it. He put out that tweet saying Kirk should apologize to him, which I thought was a bold move. But
a very bold move. Jesus Christ, I wish I had those balls.
GVE is Griff Vegas Enterprises. I know what it is called. I don't know why it's called what it's called. I don't know Mr. Griff, and I've never heard of any of his enterprises, but it's Griff Vegas Enterprises. There may be an industry attached to that.
All right, so are they like some sort of, I don't know, this seems to be like just kind of what the mincels call themselves nowadays.
Essentially, yes.
I just see a bunch of tweets, we are GVE, blah, 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 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Kirk was fed up with it. He sees, people, he made a good point. He's like, these people are, not necessarily the mincels, but he sees people like Steve from Providence, batting eyes and playing with a complete parasite like Cynthia Dill. I fucking can't stand her. I mean, I guarantee you the majority of the people who listen to the show now have no idea who she is. Because, she was a flame that went on for, I don't know, a week. And then she started contacting Murchison. I believe at one point she took credit for Murchison.
That's odd. All I remember is that podcast she had where she got like sexually harassed in a car that they played on. I was like, what is going on here?
Cynthia Dill followed me 2 weeks ago. It was one of the most fucked up afternoons of my life. I didn't even know how to feel about it. In the same afternoon, it was fucking Cynthia Dill and Zonker, and it was just like, oh fuck.
I believe they both blocked me.
Please God no.
Yeah.
It was after the Justin Puke episode, so it was just like, no, please. Let's just move on from this fucking type of people.
I mean, all I can say to the people who associate with that is you got to see it how Kirk sees it. These people are trying to ruin Kirk's life. People like Zonker, people like Cynthia Dill, people like Murchison, people like, these trolls who just want to take down the show. This is Kirk's livelihood. And when you're talking to these people,
Adam from Jersey. Yeah.
Yes, Adam from Jersey.
The bad guys.
Yeah. Just all the bad people.
He's not a bad guy.
Who's that liberal? Who's that liberal guy from the Midwest?
Tony?
Tony Cass. Oh
no, Sheldon.
Sheldon.
Yeah, Sheldon. These people want to bring down the show. They hate everything that Kirk stands for. So when you sit there and you talk to Cynthia Dill, you talk to Zonker, even if you're like, even if you're not talking about the show, it's giving them a reason to stay around. And I can see why that drives Kirk fucking insane, because it's like, imagine he's seeing it all over again with WEI giving in and catering to Murchison's needs. Obviously, it's a different thing now with the fans interacting with Zonker and these people rather than Barstool doing that. But it's I can understand why he gets so fucking pissed. My best thing is to say, if you want the show to continue, because Kirk legitimately seems like he was like, fuck this. Like, he did not want to do the show today, in the sense of he was so upset. He's like, fuck this. You just stop talking to these fucking morons, these fucking assholes like Martin Riesler and Cynthia Dill and all these other fucking assholes who all they constantly do is me. Oh, the show sucks. Oh, I'm going to take this clip out of context and send it to this person. Oh, I'm the Barstool Cougar, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you're not. You're some random fucking bitch from Maine. No one gives a shit about any of this.
Who was almost a senator. Let's not forget that.
I guess. I mean, she
I mean, that's
third place.
No,
I didn't think Kirk seemed to this entire week. He shouted out and been playful and interactive with so many of the fans, and that's generally like my bellwether as to how like Kirk is like feeling, like as far as, you know, if he's having a good time, even if he's just like, you know, fuck John from Scranton. Even John from Scranton today, he's like, you know, he's a fucking drug-addled loser, but he's not a bad guy, you know. So it seemed like he was kind of not like playing it up, but like having a good time with it in a way, which was, it's good to see. It just didn't seem like he was really, if he was really pissed, he would have been like, fuck that, game over, done, and then move on and do something everyone hated. Like, so I think it actually generated some pretty fun stuff to watch. And it seems like Kirk is really generally happy and in a good place right now. He's fucking around with the fans. He's being super interactive. It's good to see, certainly. But
I mean, I think Justin's onto something with the people who, I mean, Kirk's totally, I think he's totally fine with the people just fucking around, but it's when the people like, you know, like he said, Zonker, or people bring people like that in. It just is, there's an old saying, you give an inch, they take a mile, and it, you know, they come in and they think they're part of the, you know, part of this whole thing, and then they just not. And
I did like Dale fucking joining GVE, and then 12 hours later, the instant revocation of a golden ticket.
That was swift. You got to respect the hatred there.
Oh, dear God. Swift and brutal justice.
So
I do respect pure hatred. That you got to respect the hatred that he had there. And he's just like, nope, I'm out. Done with this guy. He's with these guys.
I will agree with you, Tim, that when he says, like, you know, John from Scranton means well, I think John from Scranton does mean well. Who I don't think means well are the people like Sneakers, like the guy from Canada who just constantly will just tweet at me, tweet at Kirk, blah, 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 put this on, do this, the show sucks. This is all this. So I think that's what gets under Kirk's skin. And because he takes it personally. I mean, he puts his heart and soul into the show. And so when you have these assholes say the show sucks, even though Kirk knows it does, it seeps into his head. And eventually he just has to come out and say, fuck you. You guys are wrong. Unsubscribe. Never talk to me again. And so that's kind of what I get to. So as you said about the Dale Williams thing, I mean, if I was Dale Williams, I'd give up the golden ticket just because I think it would be just under everyone's best interest to do so. I can't wait to see who Kirk picks for the golden ticket. Maybe it will be, I don't know.
I tweeted this morning that I am the suck pump he's looking for. So give it right to me.
I mean,
I like Dale, but
I think Dale should take this as a lesson, give up the golden ticket, and then maybe next year or in 3 years when the golden ticket expires, there's another golden ticket, and Dale can enter that. You know, see, it's like he's on like probation right now. You know, you can enter, you know, in 3 years, but you lost your privilege for this year. So, I mean, sucks to suck, but I mean, what you want to just have Kirk just because I mean, there was no promise of quality in these things. Like you can come on a show with Jerry and Kirk Kirk just goes, hey, how the kids doing? And Jerry's like, oh yeah, is Harry playing Among Us? And you know, 5 minutes.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
And then they just stop talking. So I don't know if I was Dale, I'd give up the ticket. It just seems like it would be the right thing to do. I mean, and like Kirk said, if he's an honorable military guy, he'll do the right thing. So that's what I have to say in regards to the golden ticket and Dale Williams and everything like that. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add on that before we kind of move on.
I mean, I'm
honestly,
a Dale guy.
Like candidly, I spoke with Dale Williams last evening on the phone about a unrelated matter prior to this whole thing going down. Dale's a really good guy. He is a veteran, and no matter how the fucking golden ticket shakes out in the fucking Kirk Minahan world, thank you for your service. He's a good he's a good dude. He's a legit dude. So
yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure the majority of people here are nice guys. So like, I don't. It doesn't mean anything to me when people say like, oh, this person's a nice guy or this person's a sweetheart. It's like, I understand that most of these people.
He's
are
not
nice.
a sweetheart. He's a fucking. He was just like fucking. He doesn't really mince words. Hey man, I'm a fucking introvert. I didn't want this shit. I did want to like support it, and when it happened. So I'm trying to work with it. And he's very, very straightforward about that. If anything in the world, he's definitely a fucking straight shooter. So however this shakes out, it's gonna be interesting to see because Dale Williams is a straight fucking shooter.
Man of integrity.
Oh yeah, word up. Word.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what there is to say about that. Now let's get on to I haven't had my heart broken many times in my life before.
I doubt that strongly.
But last night I'm watching the Dozen trivia. I'm watching the Dozen.
Okay.
I'm studying up. I'm writing things down. And then Kirk Minahan, then someone texts me and says, "Hey, new KMS is up." And I'm like, "Oh, sure." So and he goes, "You might want to check out the description." I read the description and it's like, due to Carabas, Steve is now back in on Team Minahan. Sorry, Justin. And my heart just shattered into a million pieces. At first, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, should I listen to this now? What happened? Did I fuck up? And then I listened to it, and it's not terribly, like, too bad. Jared makes a good point. I didn't think Steve should have quit. I think it's kind of strange that, Steve is now playing this on and off game with the trivia team of, do I want to be here? Do I not want to be here? It's kind of like, you got to pick a side. And so,
well,
I don't think it's, go ahead.
Oh no, Steve is he's smarter, and more accomplished, educationally than you. He went to a Bowdoin University in Brunswick, so whatever. But it doesn't mean just because you did all those great accomplishments in Puccinian society that you're good at trivia. So there's certain, racehorses that weren't born a thoroughbred, some of the greats. So you would have been a great replacement for Steve Robinson. He's not a trivia person. He doesn't have the quickness of mind, and he does not have any sort of broad array of knowledge. He's very singularly focused, and he's very good at being singularly focused, but that's all he is. And you would have been a great addition. That was a fucking robbery for you. I'm sure it hurt.
Which one? I
think it's
I'm sorry for your grandfather.
I think it's a generation thing. I don't see why. I guess, Steve's part of the show and everything, and he's the producer, but it would make sense, honestly, for them to have a younger person on the team, just because, Kirk is 46, Jared's 30 something, and then Justin, you'd be perfect. I think you're 24, 25, something like that.
I'm 24 years old.
So it generationally, it would just make sense to have the younger crowd represented, but it's obviously their choice.
So,
and
yeah. And then my heart was broken again listening to the show today. And Steve goes, "Oh, I got a detailed, report on the team we're facing next week, 10-page." And Kirk goes, "Oh, from Justin?" He goes, "No, just some random guy, scouting report." So now my scouting is fucking useless now too, because I got some random dude sending Steve fucking 25 pages worth of shit. So I might as well tear up everything I had.
Who was it?
Get to typing.
I have no idea who it was, but I had all these notes written down that I was like planning on sending, and I was studying like NHL arenas, and
it's Rich Mandarin, the underscore, definitely.
It probably is.
I would think that's a good
he's
guess.
a snake in and of itself. So
that I can't confirm, but wow.
Mando the snake.
So that was just, it is what it is. I was grateful to be a part of it. For when I did, I never got a question wrong, is what you can say. So
for one shining moment, you were perfect on that.
Yes.
On that team.
So who knows? I'm really looking forward to this. This keeps getting hyped up. Captain Cons is a huge cheater. He actually DM'd me last night and said, "Dude,
totally
keep it on
cheats.
He just said, keep it on the down low. I cheat, but I do so because my self-esteem is low and all this other stuff." And I was like, man, dude, you don't have to tell me this, but it's not a big deal. So
cheaters, it's fine. He needs to cheat, and he'll still lose to Kirk, which is fine. I mean, I guess,
yeah. Have you seen recently? There's been tweets that Casey Smith has been replying to KMS quotes saying like, we need to get this shit done so I can prove that I'm not a cheater. I don't know.
But you're fucking cheating. How do you prove you're not a cheater if you're fucking cheating? And people can watch you cheat. It's not fucking 1950. There's a camera on you, dummy. Like, look at your eyes. Like, Jesus
I'm watching Monday Night Football.
Quiz show scandal. Like the fucking Van Dorens. Like, it's fucking Jesus Christ.
So I think if you go back and watch the first dozen episode that Team Kirk was on, everyone should sit like Kirk and Steve are. They're sitting on a couch like 10 feet away. You can see their hands. You can see if they're talking to each other.
It might be an audio issue, though.
Anything you're doing, I don't care. I mean, buy a mic or something.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Get your shit together. People are like up close like this, and it's like, I understand. And they're like, oh, I need to go check my bets. Let me just go check my bets. Oh, this happens to be the question. I don't know. They're a bunch of cheating scumbags, and so
my comment to the Casey Smith. I was watching Monday Night Football on my phone. Does she not own a television?
I don't know.
Because usually I look up to. I mean, I'm also a little different, but I look up to look at the TV.
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is.
How blind are you? 100%?
No, I've got tunnel, so it's like looking like this.
So better than Mike?
A little bit, probably.
All right.
Have you ever had a wallet thrown at your face?
Not a wallet.
Could you dodge a wallet?
Have you ever boxed before?
I was a wrestler in high school. Does that count?
So you wrestled, but you never boxed?
No.
How much do you weigh compared to Mike, like height and weight wise?
I'm about 6'2", 200 pounds.
So you're much lighter than Mike. Okay. I'm just trying to think. So you can see a little bit better than Mike. You're lighter than him.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just matchmaking shit. Okay.
I'd fight him. I'd fight him in the rough and rowdy. I know that came up. I'd be ready to go.
No. None of that. That's not where it's going.
Is that where you're going, Tim? I'll fight him.
So yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say about the dozen. I'm excited that Steve's moving forward. I hope he puts effort into this, and I hope they come out, because I rewatched the past two Team Kirk videos a couple times these past couple days, and it was not good. I mean, Kirk legitimately got every single answer right, besides the Shakira that Jared came through, but Jared also took away some points that Steve would have gotten in a couple matches. So I'm excited for that. I think the dozen is an incredibly well run thing. I would like to see a little more transparency with people cheating and such, but what can you do? So
Steve's failure on the show dovetails with his entire narrative from the beginning of the show. As far as he's this Renaissance man, he's this fucking Bowdoin scholar. He has all this knowledge of all this different shit. And then when it really comes time to like, hey, answer a fucking question on camera where people are watching you and there's like slightest bit of pressure, like whatever the fuck, he folds. And it basically, like I said, dovetails perfectly with the Steve Robinson narrative. What is real? Like what is real? What is actually
he's not very good at trivia. He actively said he's not good.
Yeah, I know. He tried to give the job to Justin and then took it back.
Yes, but before this even began, he said he wasn't good. And some people are, intellectuals like that, but just don't have the retrieval ability to just say, hey, this was the the
that's like someone being like, I'm good at basketball, and then you hand them a basketball and they huck the ball, I mean, like into the woods. Like, I mean,
they're dribbling like Stanley.
I'm super smart. I know everything about everything. Trivia, fuck that shit. Like, no way.
I mean,
like, I am the smartest man alive, but trivia, no.
I don't mean to get educational on you, but there is a difference between knowing something and being able to retrieve it.
Okay.
I hate to do that, but
let's get really formal here. How do you think Steve's relationship with his mom is?
I'm not talking about people's moms.
I don't know. Sounds like we were getting into some deep psychological, analysis there. So
That's a fact. It's actually a skill you have to learn to retrieve information that fast.
yeah. So
What? Like, what class do you take in school for that? Like, I feel like that's just something that happens. Like,
I mean, some people are just naturally better at it than others, but you do
Yes.
have to. You have to practice retrieving information quickly. It's a skill. It's just like, if you don't do it for a while, you're just not going to be able to do it as fast as you used to. I mean,
practice, like when you go to the ATM and it goes, "What's your PIN number?" Like, I don't
But,
know.
like, as dumb as that sounds, memorizing little things, stupid little things, without having to look them up is actually practice of doing that.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
that's like good chat. I like this.
yeah. So Steve, take some advice from Blind Owl.
I'll train him.
Start like doing things faster,
Yeah.
and maybe you'll be better at trivia. I guess.
Stop using your phone.
So let's move on from the dozen. It sounds like it's going to take place in about 2 weeks, and I think that will be a good. We'll hype this up. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is going to get over 100,000 views.
No question.
This Casey versus Team Kirk thing. I think it's going to be hyped up not only by Kirk and the Minifans. It's going to get hyped up by Casey, which gets hyped up on her podcast, which gets hyped up Barstool New York. So people, and some people at New York aren't the biggest fans of Kirk. So I believe they'll be talking about it, seeing if he'll, take his comeuppance, which we know he won't. It's going to be a hard. Like, even if they lose, they're going to lose by 1 point. It's not going to be Kirk's fault. I mean, the man. If you watch the past videos, if you're a constant watcher of the dozen, it's so rare to get 12 points and lose. I mean, there's only 20.
Justin looks like an angel right now.
There's only 28.
Halo right above his head.
There's only 28 points available in the entire game. So
Kirk's 100% right. If you start 1 and 2, you are fucked. If you start 2 and 1, it's like we can run this table and then maybe slip up later on and still be nasty. But you start 1 and 2, that's just such a dog shit feeling in fucking season. Like, it's such a bad feeling. So I believe in him. I believe in Kirk. I believe Carabas has literally the knowledge of fucking. I don't know. I don't know what he knows. I don't think it's much. And
Baseball.
Steve appears to be like in everything else he does, a giant fraud, except for producing the show. He's great at it. Honest to God, he's a great producer. But like everything else, like he just seems to be a giant fraud. Like outdoorsman, fucking everything else, just nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. He's a shell.
Speaking of nothing there, let's talk about this Bruce Springsteen situation. More details have come out since last time.
Rude.
And it's just, I feel bad for the dude. Dude, he blew
I
a
don't.
point.
What?
He blew
How can you feel bad for him?
0.02.
So,
That's not drunk.
but it's still illegal to drink in public,
Okay, first of
which
all,
he did.
Yeah, first of all, you don't get arrested for that.
You
Yeah,
can.
but if you wake up at every morning with a Valium sandwich and then fucking whatever the fuck else you take to get through the day when you're his age, like
Tim,
maybe one tequila, that what I'm saying is 1 tequila on top of all that shit that's totally prescribed by a doctor, totally legal, totally for it to help him.
Sure.
So if you take 1 shot of tequila with that, it can probably fuck you to the point where when you get out of a car, you like do like a thing and you look like you're completely shit-faced. He did the right thing probably by refusing the breathalyzer because it's like, this is bullshit. I'm not drunk. My lawyer told me never to ever submit to a breathalyzer, so I'm never going to do what my lawyer tells me not to. And I'm sure Bruce did the right thing by like the law and by himself because he wasn't drunk. He probably had taken medication. He's an elderly man. He's probably prescribed whatever he's prescribed, and 1 shot of tequila on top of medication, like a person like him who's been grinding his fucking hips and just doing the thing for as long as he's been doing, it could fuck you up and it could hit you weird. And I think it hit him weird.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if you were a cop and you sat there and watched, they said they watched him get off his bike, take a shot with the fans, and then get back on and start driving, you would be stupid not to pull him over.
Okay, first of all, I mean, I don't know if you've ever been to a Patriots game before, but people are literally chugging beers on their way out, but you don't see police just pulling people over left and right.
If they did, they'd get like 10 DUI. They'd get 100 DUIs a night.
Tim, your point, while it is entirely possible, I have the same amount of evidence that he was taking a shit ton of Valium, that he was on his way to an orphanage to just donate a $5 million check to make a brand new orphanage. There's no proof. I believe in innocent until proven guilty.
He is innocent. He hasn't been.
He is innocent. I was saying he is innocent. He whatever made him look and slur and do the thing that made the cops suspicious.
Which we don't know.
It wasn't a shot of tequila. Yeah. So like whatever it was completely legit. No, the boss is in the right here, man. The boss has been.
I'm not saying he's guilty. I'm just saying that it was a good stop, good arrest. Nope. When you get a terrible arrest. No, when you deny the breathalyzer, they have the right to arrest you and say, okay, we're going to go do a blood test then because we think you're drunk.
And you get a warrant in order to get a blood test done,
and he can refuse it.
Yes,
and they got it apparently because they got the .02.
So I don't know. I think he got railroaded. I think this entire thing is people just love to see celebrities, especially like ones that cross generations, like Bruce Springsteen.
You think a cop is going to pull over a Bruce Springsteen and say, "Oh, I think he's drunk because he took this one shot"? They're going to get their ass sued if he didn't.
No, absolutely not.
What?
No, I think the cop was saying, "Aha, Bruce is this big liberal." Anti-police.
And why does everything have to be political? It's not political. They were
just saying this is
their job was.
I'm just saying this is. Everyone's saying, "Oh, he might have been on Valium or everything like that." The cop might have had a bias towards Bruce Springsteen.
No, not everyone. I said that.
It could have been Brandy Love's fucking cousin or whatever.
Sure, it could have been anything. But I'm just saying, with the details we have, the cop stopped him, arrested him because he denied the breathalyzer. And then they apparently did the test at some point, and he's not drunk. Perfect job.
I don't know. I think he got screwed. I think people are the fact that like he lost the Jeep sponsorship is just so fucking stupid.
Well, that's dumb. The Jeep should have waited for everything to come out. But again, it's their right to drop him if they want to. They already paid him.
Bad timing though. Like fresh new commercial with Jeep, and then even though, like I said, 100% innocent, whatever caused him to be suspicious, it's completely legit because it's probably medical. So
timing is more suspicious.
Tough timing. Tough timing though. Tough timing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't like it when you see. I don't see him because he blocked me, but apparently Jerry's tweeting out like, "Oh, blah blah blah." Donald Trump Jr.'s taking victory laps. Like, dude, like, shut the fuck up. I mean, the dude,
they're politically motivated. The whole situation.
For those of you that don't know, the average the average person drinks, if they drink one shot or 1 12-ounce beer, 5 ounces of wine, it increases your blood alcohol level by 0.02. So he would have had to have 4 of those to be over the legal limit, which is 0.08. He was obviously under it. So I think the man got screwed, and I think Kirk's right to be defending him.
He can defend him all he wants. Defend him. He's innocent, clearly, of the law they accused him of breaking. I don't think he's been sentenced, has he?
No,
convicted?
I mean,
just arrested.
No, I don't know. It was fucked up. My thoughts and prayers are out to Bruce Springsteen and his family for having to deal with this fucking nonsense. So near the end of the show, there was a very interesting segment where it really just sounds like guys just talking, which I love how Kirk is able to get this out of him. When they were talking about Jared's pay, Kirk's pay, and when is Jared contract up, and all these other things. And Jared, obviously, he sounds like he's a terrible negotiator. I completely understand. I'm myself a terrible negotiator in and of itself. And they were going back, and Kirk was like, "Oh, I'm going to be your manager or your agent. Like, what's the lowest you would go? 300?" Jared's like, "Fuck yeah, I'll take that. 200, fuck yeah. 100, no." So I think it's interesting when they kind of pull back the curtains a little bit and talk about personal. I was going to actually have an expert on Kirk and Jared's contract come on the show today, but unfortunately he's not. He was unavailable and he's no longer allowed on the channel. So That's too bad.
No one's
But-
ever pulled back the curtains like Kirk. Like
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
personal, on everything. Like there's no layers. You know, he's been personal about his family. That's legitimate. That should be respected. But like everything else, like his mental health battles, he's been nothing but forthright and open with the fans. So I don't know. It kind of, you know, it kind of works. It dovetails, and it is what it is as far as that goes.
It's always good to hear. Like I always wondered how much these guys are making. I mean, Kirk and Callahan when they were on WEI were probably each making what Kirk said, $700,000, and that's without bonuses and everything. And that's just incredible to do. When you think about it, it's really only 12, however many hours,
No,
20 hours of work. I mean, they did more, but still, that's a ton of money, and they deserved every dollar.
Carabas works with Kirk for that exact, that exact reason. Like so Carabas is successful. He has the most successful baseball podcast and the most successful Red Sox podcast.
Mhm.
So it's not like when Mike's in studio, it's great because they have that rapport. Mike's fucking family. He's one of the best. And they have like a rapport. But like when Kirk has someone in there, and it goes back to EEI, like when they'd have like Portnoy on or someone where there was actual mutual respect because of like success, it generates a different level of content. So it's really funny when Kirk says something to Jared and Jared's like, fuck you, weirdo. Like no one does that, and no one really brings that. So it makes it interesting that like Carabas has kind of the level of success where he can kind of like push back a little bit. Kind of like Jerry used to be honest. Like when Jerry and Kirk would like go at it, Jerry had a very established level of success, and Kirk took him to where he needed to be. But like it's not the same dynamic, but it's a dynamic Kirk needs, where it's like he can't constantly be surrounded by fucking losers, or he's just talking down to losers all day. So it helps to have someone with some level of accomplishment there to like kind of like not check them, but like it makes the conversation spicier to me, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I love having Jared in. I do think it was interesting that Jared's like, I just want to be here like the rest of my life, and they haven't come out and reached out. I haven't signed a contract yet, and I mean, because there is talk of, I'm not entirely sure what's happening, but the rumor is that KMS contract needed to be picked up sometime soon for the option year, or it's a new contract. So that might be like on top of Kirk's mind, how this kind of came to be. It's no, but I would say definitely when you look at it, I think there's no doubt Kirk, gets, is underpaid for what he does when you consider the Kirk Minahan show, all the, how he just goes on the dozen trivia, he sparks shit in the office, he's doing the new secret project, and then even Jared. I mean, Jared does a whole shit ton of things. So
I re-listened to the Kelleher and Cullinane, the first appearance of Kelleher in the studio from way back the other day. And at one point, Kirk says, all I had to do was show up and talk Tim Wakefield and get $1 million a year. All I had to do was show up and talk Red Sox and just make $1 million a year. That's all I had to do. And I mean, perfect example of what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, I thought it was interesting. I didn't know that Kirk had to pay like at least $100,000 to get out of his contract. I thought it was
that's with his agent. I heard, right?
Yeah.
That's
so
what
I
he
mean,
said, yeah. You signed so many years to be with an agent. That's easy income for them because I believe they get a percentage of it, right?
Yeah, I assume that's how it works in Ballers, and that's the only agents I know.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, I thought that was an interesting story. I mean, Kirk wanted to get the fuck. I think he might have still been under contract with WEI if he never kicked his way out. So
I mean, there's always payouts with contracts, so I would assume he could say, "Here's the number. All right, I'm out. I'm done. See you later."
Yeah. So I was just like, damn, like it just shows like how much effort he puts into the show that he was willing to pay literally a normal person's year's salary in order to kick and claw his way into Barstool.
Like 5 times my year's salary.
Yeah, exactly. Like 50 times my salary. So it's yeah, I mean, it was just cool to see. I like it when they kind of get into those, personal conversations that aren't like love based or something like that. It's just two guys just talking about, like, oh, your contract's up. Oh, this is how you should go about it.
How much do you make a year? Just like flat out. How much? That's the best part. Like that's the best part. That's like why people listen. Like that's a good listen. Like Kirk Minihane asking fucking Jared Carabas just flat out like, how much you make a year? What's your base salary? Like you have fucking bonuses. Like
when you're talking to your buddies about your job, that's what you discuss, and that's what you listen to. That's I mean, it's compelling to hear what these people make.
Oh, I also wanted to say real quick. I know Jared was laughing at it, but I think he was just laughing at it because it was a song about him. Not a good song today.
No, too slow in my opinion.
Too slow.
You gotta have a little energy.
I respect Pink Floyd, but I don't think their songs are ripe for parody. It has to be, Comfortably Numb, great song. It just wasn't hitting. And I think Kirk cut it off at the right time. I think Jared was laughing because he was thinking back to getting his asshole licked. And that kind of sparked some serotonin in his head.
No, it's like an inside joke. It's funnier to you because you're involved in it.
Yeah.
I feel like up until now, personally, to me, Kevin from Bristol had the best two songs of 2020. The Kirk Minihane Traveling Ice Fishing Show, Said Diamond, is a masterpiece. And then Matt Carano very recently said the Desperado was literally phenomenal. So with the recent stretch that Kevin has had for the song today to go the way it did,
tough look.
Tough
man. Love you, man.
He's had a tough couple weeks.
I fucking love you, buddy. I guess it didn't hit. It's too
awesome. Well, that kind of wraps it up for today. I don't know. Was there anything else from today's show you guys wanted to hit on?
I'm good. I thought we had, we love the long shows. At least I do. I love the
I love the show today. It was great. We kind of got a little bit of everything. I do like it how they're not talking as much politics as they were in December, even though those shows were awesome as well.
I like a little politics mixed in, just to,
it's still thrown in there here and there. But it, like Kirk said, he's just sick of Trump. I think everyone's just kind of sick of talking politics and impeachment and all this other bullshit. So thank you, boys, for joining me. Thank you for everyone who's watching and listening. Keep an eye out. I believe I'm going to be having a promotion next week where I will be giving away something very special to those who are subscribed and to the YouTube and to a podcast, into the podcast. So
Justin's virginity being given away.
Yes, that's right. You can pop my cherry. So anywho, that is it for today. Thank you to Kirk Minihane, Steve Robinson, and Kirk Minihane. And I will talk to you guys